Okay, this video segment, I'm going to show you the how to get the entire web page content from the website. And this is actually the last code segment we did in the week 2 class, in the Python programming class. Okay, so I start by going, obviously it's from the week 2 project, and I'm going to create a new PyDev module, right? So I am going to name that as GetWebPage. So this will basically create a skeleton of the module. We're going to do the code now. This particular exercise we'll be using a very common, popular Python library or module called requests. This is what it is. This one, okay, this one. Now, it's not a standard Python library, so you really have to install it. So the way you install this, you will type, okay, like this. Pip install requests. So you know, I already have this installed, right? Here it's already installed, but it says it's already satisfied, so it's already there. So, but it needs this to use it. Okay, so I will first input this in the code, and the Python PyDev automatically recognizes that, so the request. So as I type, I just show you again. REQU, see it actually listed. So you just have to double click on that, select the one. Okay. So now the actual code is very simple. I have a variable called my results, and then I want to get. Now, if you look at the libraries, I'll show you the API library for this. All you need, what I did was I just Googled requests Python. You will. So this is the online library tutorial documentation for the requests. Okay, so this is what the get. We're going to use the get, and there are a number of other method very popular, but what we're using is the command. The method in the request called get. Okay, it's just the URL itself, right? So we're going to use this. Now here's what we're going to get the content. Since later we will be using, in the later week we're going to be using this to parse the page of National Weather Service. So this is the URL we're going to use. Okay, so I will take this URL, copy this down, put it here. Now, even though I'm using this, but you can put any URLs, even for that matter. If you wanted, you can use this too. So basically any legit URL will work. So this basically, I'm going to tell requests to go to this URL to grab the content and return to an object. Okay. If you look at the the online document, the get returns actually is return an object, a result object. Okay. So this is important because when we do this, so once we return, assuming this is all good, returns, we wanted to save this to a file. So in Python, the function open a file is called open. right? So what we're gonna do is just say we want to store the result to we want to open a file to for writing, right? And the open function returns a file handle. So basically it tells you, you open a file, you put the handle to that file into a variable called fh. So I call it fh, you can call any names, but once you have this, then what you can do is I'm going to write to it, right? So now you have a file handle, you want to write everything to this file, right? So remember I said that my result, the get returns result, requests the get, points to a page, return a result object. The actual content of that object, the actual web page content of the result is actually stored in a field called content. Okay, so we have the content take the result as the web content and store to the file, and then we close it. That's it. That's all we need to do. I'm just put a print done here, so that's really all we need to do. So if I run this, you will see. Okay, let me point to. Now there are folks in the class who was wondering where this is located. It's actually located at the same level as your source code. So if I go to this, if I go to the where located, okay, here, my user and workspace. In my case is I'm sorry, in the Git. Sorry, the student is the user, right? It's my current user student, and then I am going to the Git directory and the wake2 directory, and that's where my code is, get web page. Okay, if I run this, you will see the result being stored here. So if I do this, run, it's done. Now you see my web page is here, right? If you open it with a browser, you will see I just open it with a browser. Right, this is the content of the what I stored. Okay, look at this. So it's the page. Okay, and I can, if I use let me look at this. Okay, rename this to HTML. So let me do this. I will open this with Google. It will render. See, this is the page, right? Now the reason these pictures are missing is because that's indirect reference, and indirect reference, and it's not gonna, you cannot see this from the page because I'm getting only that page itself. I'm not drilled down to each of the links. Okay, so here's the example how we can do this. Not only grab the content, also save that to it. Okay, so let me just do another, give you another run, and so I can at least see you see it clear. Okay, let me add a file content here, that way at least it's easier to open down the row. Okay, so let me delete this. I'm going to rerun this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up breakpoints here, so at least you can see the execution much clearer. So I'm going to run as in a debugger mode. Okay, it's going to first stop in this line. Okay, so now I'm going to run one at a time. So I'm pointing to the National Weather Service. I'm trying to get the entire content. So that's the first step. All right, now I completed, returned this. If I remember in the browser, I say you can look at the value. So here's the value. My result is my result. You see this? And as I said, it's actually an object called response. It returns the object, not a string or integer. Within this object, there are many attributes and fields, and as well as the methods. So where the web page is stored is actually in a string in a field called content. Okay, and again, there are many other things you can look at, in this. Okay, so that's why when we store it, we store the content itself. Okay, so anyway, this returns, and then I'm going to open a file. Okay, the file name is mywebpage.html. So I'm going to step one time, I open it. Right now, next is I'm writing to it. Right, remember I said my result.content is where the web page itself is located. That's the one. You can look at this. Right, see this? The content attribute, it contains the entire HTML pages. This is too long, it won't be able to display them all, but we can see it. But anyway, so that's we open it. Right, now we're going to write to it. So we're going to write to it, right, and then we close it. Right, and then we print done. Okay, so now if I come back, look at this, that's the page I just stored, saved, and you can open it with a browser. So that way, let me get this. Okay, so we can open it with a browser, and then you can look at this. So right, this is the content I was able to store. Okay, and if you want to see how it is being rendered in the actual browser, let me look at this. Okay, so we'll just get Firefox or any one of those. Let me look at this. But anyway, you see the result of it, right? So that's how we do it. And we want to switch back, and this is the code. Okay, how to grab the web page and then save to a file. Thank you for watching.